Bobby here, KM6IKH at the NEX-GEN Labs. Hey, I want to turn you guys on to something that's pretty cool that we use on our products, and that's called the KAPTON tape. K-A-P-T-O-N. It's right here. KAPTON tape. Polyimide film. Pretty amazing stuff. You'll see this on electronics in a plethora of different applications, as a matter of fact. It's pretty cool stuff. And I'll show you what we use it for here, but some of the specs on this stuff is actually kind of mind-blowing, that tape can tolerate what this tape can tolerate. In fact, it's anti-acid, anti-solvent, anti-corrosive, cold resistance to negative 70 degrees Celsius or 100 degrees Fahrenheit, negative. Insulation properties, 7.5 kilovolts. That's amazing. And the heat resistance, I think the most amazing thing, 260 degrees Celsius. This is just a tad under what I solder with, and 500 degrees Fahrenheit. You can cook a turkey at that. So, well, you don't even use that much temperature in your oven to cook a turkey. So anyways, cool stuff. That's KAPTON tape. Let me roll over here to the bench, and I'll show you where we apply it. And this is the material right here, just the KAPTON tape. It's very cool material. Also not cheap either. It's pretty expensive stuff, but what it does is amazing. Again, you'll see this inside of a plethora of different types of electronics components all the time. As a matter of fact, if you ever open up electronics, you'll see KAPTON tape being used in them for a variety of different functions. What we use it for here is right there. We use it, we put underneath the MMDVM hats, and it's just a barrier that protects the underside of the hats, which don't require it. Is it needed? No. Has it ever been an issue? Never once. No. Do we think it could be an issue? No, but we do this as it's just a quality control thing. One client had mentioned it at one time, and they were saying, "Oh, I think something's shorting out, or this and that and this," and we solved the issue. It was nothing to do with this whatsoever. But the fact that it came up, we thought it would be a good idea as a preemptive strike, just to put the KAPTON tape underneath the MMDVM boards, because we do use the big, fat 10 millimeter tall by 14 by 14 millimeter heat sinks on the main CPU for the motherboards. We use this two applications. We use it for the application of the Raspberry Pi 3-B, which you see here. Also, in the Raspberry Pi Zeros, we use the exact same size overkill heatsink. So this sits down on top of the board. The heatsink also supports the bottom of the board, which is a winner-winner chicken dinner extra, but that's not the primary reason we use this. We use it to keep that CPU cool. And as you can see right underneath, it is a protection barrier between the top of the heatsink, which does not get very hot. If it gets 120 degrees Fahrenheit, matter of fact, it'll never get 120 degrees at the top. At the top of these fins, you're probably never going to max out more than 88 degrees Fahrenheit. I mean, that would be an extremely hot day in an extreme situation. So that's never going to be an issue for electronics. So we put that KAPTON tape underneath the boards now, just as an extra added precaution. So if anybody looks under the boards and they don't understand electronics, which many people don't, and there's underneath, you'll notice there's solder mask underneath these boards. So that's your protection layer right there. There are some traces here, but there's a solder mask here, which is very, very well protected. So this heatsink never, under any circumstances, presents an issue. But once again, as a preemptive strike, what we do here at the NEX-GEN Labs, we now put the KAPTON tape underneath the boards where they come in contact with the heatsink. And that's it. I just wanted to share that with you guys today. Just an extra added thing that we do, just to make sure there's never going to be an issue or a reason for an issue. As you know, ham operators tend to like to promote fake news. It's not uncommon. Hear it all the time. I don't say anything about it, but I hear it. And if there's something that someone suspects could be a problem, and all of a sudden they start yakking and rag chewing with no knowledge, no real understanding, not even usually a faint comprehension of what they're talking about when it comes to electronics. But just in case, we want to make sure as a preemptive strike,